correct, but I'm not.
Well, you are incorrect.
No, I'm not. But
You
anyway,
are.
move
You're
on. No, I'm not.
absolutely
But anyway,
100% wrong.
no, I'm not. 100% not. But
Well,
anyway,
if
go on.
he, I don't believe he knows better that he knows better than to say that. So
Okay.
I don't
Uh,
believe he has it. I bet you've misunderstood
okay.
him. Or
Well,
I mean,
I don't really.
if he has said it, then he's wrong. But I don't believe, given that he usually is quite good on these things, I don't believe he said that. But he does make the odd error, so perhaps this is one of them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't. Whereas you don't,
Correct.
Rumpus.
Correct. First rule of the
Exactly.
internet. The first rule of the internet is that the rumpus does not make mistakes. Well, it says sorry, everything I say is correct. That's the one thing you can guarantee.
Benzo,
Oh, lordy lord. Lordy lord.
Benzo.
Yes, bacon, yes.
Remember you were asking about what would happen if you were at the equator and then uh flew an airplane heading north, right?
Oh no, that wasn't me. That was new perspective. I was talking about the ball in the room being
No,
thrown backwards and forwards,
no. Before that,
and what.
I'm pretty sure the example of heading north with the airplane came from you.
Oh, I said, well, yeah, because you guys were getting caught up on picking one town and another town, and I jumped in and said, well, don't worry about the towns, just fly due south from due north, and just fly in a perfect straight line. That's what I said. Yes,
Right,
you're correct.
but
You're correct. You're correct. Yep.
right, and the issue I found with that is that you were trying to say that if you're always heading north, then the wind is not going to take you out of your trajectory, right?
No, I never said the wind wouldn't have any effect whatsoever. No.
Right. So how can you fly perfectly straight?
What do you
How
mean? How
would
can
you
you
know
fly
you're flying?
if you can fly perfectly straight? We were in a jet that had 45,000 pounds of thrust. Right, that this wind that you're talking about was pretty much going to be negated.
I don't think you can claim that. Like, it doesn't matter how strong it is, it's still relying on its aerodynamics to fly. Airplanes aren't like rockets, right? I mean, they need the aerodynamics. If you remove that jet's wings, it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
fall,
Yeah.
regardless on how
Yeah.
powerful the jets are.
Yep. And
Right.
I would agree with that with a little Fokker friendship or a little Cessna plane where it doesn't have very much power. But we were talking about one of the most powerful jets on Earth, and any deviation in wind whatsoever would be overcome by the thrust of the engines.
Oh, I don't think you can claim that. Like, you don't have a way to quantify that. Sure, if I'll give you that if the airplane has stronger uh stronger not propellers, turbines, right? Or
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
then it might be less affected by wind, but less is greater than zero. And when we're
Yeah,
referring to something like Coriolis, which is also something very small, if you don't have a value, just know it's smaller. Don't think that you can make any conclusions out of that. Like if
yeah.
you right, so if you can show that
I'm
the number is smaller than Coriolis, then we might have something to talk about there.
well,
But I don't think
poss-
that's the case.
possibly Bacon, right? But I never said the wind wouldn't have any effect. But it's like if I am in a canoe, right, paddling across
You know
a
what?
river in a canoe, a kayak. A kayak, you know what a kayak is? The
I
ones you
think
paddle?
so.
Yep, 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 yep. So you sit in them and you paddle them, right? And I'm going across a river that's, say, a mile wide, and it's got a little bit of a current, right? Now, when I start at point A and I just paddle across the river there, I'm not going to, the chances of me hitting point B, which is directly in front of me, I'm going to be way, 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 way down the river, right? Because I don't have much power to overcome the current, right? But if I am in the fastest speed boat on Earth, right? The current, yes, will still have a little bit of an effect, and I still won't hit dead on, but it'll be negligible.
I mean, that's why we kept bringing up bullets. That's even faster, and that relies less in aerodynamics. Like any airplane relies on aerodynamics, which means they depend on air. They fly because of air pressure. A
Hmm.
bullet doesn't. A bullet is purely going from its inertial path. So I
Correct.
think that would be the way to maximize. Uh, I mean, to minimize wind compared to Coriolis, for example. And
And
you were mentioning that there's no difference between a sniper and yourself, right? Because you said you
yeah, I was sporting shooter. Yes, yeah.
right. You think that is as precise as any sniper can be?
I think it's more precise than a
Mm,
sniper. More
more
precise.
precise. Right. So
Yep.
snipers aren't
One,
the best one. The best ones are uh what do you say? You are?
I, I was a sporting shooter.
Sporting shooters are more precise than snipers.
I said I. Yeah, wait, no, I didn't say sporting shooters are more precise. No, don't put those words in my mouth. Not,
But
I didn't say that
all right.
whatsoever. Right? But you're telling me that a sniper is more precise than a sporting shooter, and that's not the case at all. That is not the case at all.
I'm not telling you that that's what would expect. I'm not sure about that. That's just what I would guess. Like that a
No,
sniper is the more accurate shooter you can have.
no.
Right.
Well, put it this way, Bacon. As I said to you the other night, when you're shooting someone, right, you are not aiming for their eyeball, right? You are aiming for the biggest center of mass target. That's what you are aiming for. That's what you're taught
Right.
to
But
aim for, right?
the thing is then
Where a sporting shooter, right, is aiming at a target, right, the size of a 1 cent piece. That's what you're trying to hit every single time.
right, but if we are talking about distances, for example, if I'm trying to hit a smaller target that is closer to me, and someone is trying to hit a little bigger target, but it's like 3 times the distance, I think the person that is trying to aim at the thing 3 times longer is gonna need more precision
No,
because the bullet is gonna be uh, flying through air for longer. It's gonna be affected by any of those external effects for longer, right? Than if it's a close shot. And, and yeah, even if the target is bigger, I think you will still need more precision.
no, I think you have this fantasy notion in your head about what snipers do, Bacon, that they are trying to kill their targets from huge distances all the time. Yes, they want to be a fair way away, right? I'm not going to argue that because that's why they're a sniper, right? But the further away they are from their target, right, they know the higher the chance of them missing, right?
Of
So
course.
they want to be far enough away. They want to be close enough to maximize their chance, but far enough away so that they're in stealth mode, right? So they won't be spotted, won't be seen, and they can hide out there for however long they want to hang out there for. But they are still aiming at a center of mass, right? Whereas sporting shooter is trying to hit a 1 cent piece all the time. That's what they're trying to do. Because
Right.
if you don't hit that, you lose points every time. All right, and you want a very tight grouping. That is what you're trying to do. Now, I'm not saying that a sniper cannot do that, right? What I'm saying is they both have equal capabilities of doing it.
Right, but if snipers are shooting longer distances,
No, they're
those
not.
effects
No, they're not. No, they're not. No,
aren't the
they're not. No.
longest shot recorded like sniper shots?
What difference does that make that the longest recorded shot was from a sniper? What difference does that make? That is one shot in a trillion shots that you're cherry picking to make your argument.
I didn't
That's what
say
you're
just the
doing.
longest. I said like the longest.
The longest, okay, so the longest. All right, that's neither here nor there. That the longest shot ever recorded by a kill shot by a sniper is over whatever distance it was. I don't know what the distance it was, but whatever it was, that's the longest recorded kill shot. Is that the longest recorded sporting shooters shot? Have you checked these stats to see if there is a comparison?
No, I just
No.
just looked for the longest shots at all. I mean,
Okay.
the top ones are from snipers. But
Bacon,
if you think
why does
that's
this
not a
matter?
fair,
Sorry to interrupt you, Bacon. Why does this matter whether sporting or the snipers do
right?
the longest
Because
shot?
like we were talking about Coriolis, and
Right.
Bento said because he never took it into account, and because he has to be more precise than snipers apparently.
Oh
Then
yeah, but he
Coriolis,
doesn't. Yeah, but snipers do it over snipers generally operate over longer range than sporting things. They have
Depends.
to try and they
that's what I'm,
try shots over a mile away. You don't ever do that.
I've done a kilometre and a half, which is about a mile, thereabouts, rumpus, 100%. And we have competitions, long shooting competitions. Right? So don't
Right,
say
but
that we don't. Right?
okay,
You're making a very generalised statement there.
well it
Very
is.
generalised.
Snipers are. I mean, they do regularly. I think attempt to operate over a mile, whereas I suspect that's unusual for sporting shooters.
Really? Well, I'd like to see the citation that snipers, right?
And they have a manual that gives
General.
the
The,
Coriolis correction.
I
Like
would like to. I would
snipers have
like
a
to
correction
see.
for Coriolis.
I would like to see a citation saying that snipers generally operate over a mile or two. I'd like
No,
to
no, I
see it.
didn't. They don't generally. I'm saying they regularly. I think they're trained to do that. I mean, obviously, most
Yeah,
sniping doesn't occur over that range, but they have to
exactly.
know how to do it if they go to that sort of
Yeah.
distance. Whereas I don't think that's the case so much for sporting shooters. And they have a manual. Snipers have a manual which gives them details of how to allow for Coriolis effects.
So don't you think when you're doing long range shooting that you would have a similar manual that had this Coriolis effect in it that you would have to
I would
account
have
for?
thought
So
so, but obviously it's not
exactly.
so important. I mean, as I say, I don't. I suspect it's not such a regular feature of long range shooting.
Well, it's
But
very important. You're trying to hit a 1 cent piece and you want to win the trophy. It's very, very
yeah,
important,
okay. So
rumpus.
you're saying there are long range. Can you give me a link to some sort of competition where sporting shooters are